Hey everyone, it's Kara here from Boho and I'm back with another quick little tutorial for you. Okay, maybe not so quick because we all know I like to kind of over-explain things sometimes, but I wanted to show you, I've been getting a lot of questions in my digital planner series about my day of the week headers that I've been using this week, and that is these right here. And you can see that these are kind of super cute, like 3D letters. And I've created these completely from scratch in Procreate. And I'll just flip through here. We've got Tuesday. Let me move this over so you can see them all. We've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right, so I'm going to show you how I create these letters. I've been using them for a lot of different things. I did it on this one. This is my dog, Micah, her name. I created another little header for my journal when I was journaling about my beach day. And then also in my Couch to 5K spread that I did recently, I did the 3D letters in there too. All right, so I'm going to show you the quick and easy way, and then I'm going to show you the way to kind of embellish a little bit more. All right, so I'm just going to start a new canvas. I'm just going to grab screen size to make this easy. And I'm going to grab a brush. I'm going to go with this sign paint brush. This is one that I purchased a long time ago. I cannot remember who I purchased it from, but you could absolutely use any of the brushes that come with your iPad. Like in the calligraphy section here, there's some great brushes in here that you could use as well. But this is one of my favorites, so I'm going to grab that. And I really need to look into where I got this brush, obviously. All right, let's turn this straight so you can actually see what's going on. So I'm just going to write a word, and I think I'm going to go with love. And I think I want that to be a little bit thicker. And I'm a perfectionist. I always write things a few times. But that's the beauty of working digitally, is you can kind of practice over and over again until you're completely happy with your word. There we go. I think I really like that. All right, so now I'm just going to center this on the canvas. I'm just going to move it to where I want it. Absolutely not necessary, but I like to have everything centered as I work. All right, so we want to save this black layer, but we actually want a duplicate of this in whatever color you choose on top. So I'm just going to duplicate this layer. And with 2 fingers, I'm just going to slide over on this layer to alpha lock it. That makes it so that the only pixels being changed are the ones that have color on them, so you're not messing with the background. So I'm just going to grab whatever color I wish, and I'm going to go with teal, of course, and I'm going to tap and fill layer. All right, so now we have 2 layers. We have the teal layer on top and the black layer on the bottom. So the first thing we're going to do is create a little bit of a shadow so that it looks like light is hitting this word from a certain direction. So I like my light to come from the top left. It's totally up to you. But on the black layer, we're going to hit our magic wand up here and hit Gaussian blur. And we're going to slide to adjust this, and you'll start to see it kind of peeking out behind there. And you can go really heavy with this, as you can see. But I like to keep mine somewhere around like 13-14%. In this case, since it's such a large word, I think I'm going to go with 15%. All right, now I'm going to hit my arrow tool at top, and this is going to allow me to move this. And in Procreate, if you just tap underneath, you can kind of nudge that layer down. So I'm just nudging it a little bit to the bottom and to the right. So this makes it look like the light is coming from up here and casting a shadow down in this direction. All right, and now I think that shadow is way too dark. So I'm going to go back to my magic wand up here and use opacity, and I'm going to slide the opacity down to where it's just barely a shadow. You really don't need to overdo it here to get that effect. I think I'm going to go with around 35%. I might even bring it down more later. All right, up next, we're going to add a little effect to where it looks like our letters, the strokes of our letters are kind of overlapping each other and bending in on themselves. I don't know how to better describe it, but I'm going to add a new layer on top, And I'm going to un-alpha lock this layer down here just to clear that out. And on this new layer that we put up top, I'm going to change the blend mode, and I'm going to change it to multiply. And you'll see why in just a minute. And then I'm going to tap on my colored letter layer. I'm going to tap and hit select. This is going to make it to where whatever we do, it's only going to write on that specific layer. And then I'm going to go back to my new layer that I just created. This is really important. You want to do it on a separate layer. And I'm going to grab black again. And this time I'm going to go with a soft airbrush. This is a brush that is available in Procreate automatically. And I'm just going to come in and add kind of some shadows to make it look like my letters are overlapping. Again, make sure that this layer is selected, but you're writing on this upper layer. And that might be a little too thin of a brush. Let's go a little thicker. And with this, I'm just kind of starting heavy close to the letter, and I'm lightening up as I go along. And I feel like I might have started way too dark. But the reason we did that multiply before on this layer is it kind of gives it more of a blended effect than if we did not have multiply turned on. This would be a lot harsher kind of black. And when I zoom way in here, you can see I've kind of overlapped on the sides a little bit. If you want to fix that, you can just come in with your eraser and kind of clean that up a little bit. And I like to be really zoomed in when I'm doing this, but you can obviously do that however you want. All right, and if you're worried, if you're looking at this from a distance and you're like, wow, that's super dark, don't worry, we're gonna fix that later. Right now, we're just trying to get that shadow in. All right, let's see, maybe it does a little flip down here. I think I might even go a tiny bit larger with my brush. There we go. And then you can decide what part you want to overlap. So for example, on this O little swoop up here, if I was to do my shadows here and here, it looks like this part is going out on top. But if I do my shadows here and here, now it looks like this is going in the back and then coming around. And I think that's what I want to stick with on this one. And you don't have to be this precise about cleaning things up. I kind of like to. And don't be afraid to do the 2-finger tap to undo if there's something you don't like. I don't like that gradient that I did there at all, so I'm just going to redo it. All right, so now we have our shadow layer, and I just want to go through. Once I'm zoomed out, I can really see like where the gradient is not very good, so I might go through and just, oops, I'm on my eraser. Just kind of smooth out those gradients from time to time. And again, this is just me being very nitpicky, but you could definitely do this in a more kind of rough style. That would give it a whole different look and would be really cool too. Okay, so I am happy with that. Now I'm going to tap my arrow, and now we can see what that looks like in real life without it being grayed out because of those selection lines. And obviously this shadow is very, very harsh, so I want to tone it down a little bit. So you could do the same trick as before, come up here and go to opacity, but also if you go to your layers panel, there's an opacity slider here, and it's right here. So I'm just going to turn that down, And this is why it's so important to do this on a new layer, because if you had done it on your color layer, you would be turning down the opacity of the whole piece instead of just these shadows. So I'm turning them down. Again, we just need the slight hint of that shadow. We don't need it to be super prominent. All right, so that's it for that layer. And then the final layer that's going to make this look really 3D is to add some highlights. So I'm going to create a new layer again, and I'm going to use white. And I'm going to stay on that same soft airbrush. And let's check my size here. I think that's pretty good. And remember, our light is coming from this corner. So kind of the left and tops of the letters are going to be what really gets hit with that light. So we're going to add in highlights. That might even be too thick. So kind of the left and top, predominantly in like the top left corner of whatever curve I'm working on, that is what's going to get hit the most by light. All right, so I'm going to turn this up a little bit. So this is the top left corner, so we're going to make this a little bit thicker. And I love this soft airbrush for this because you can really just get kind of crazy with it. All right, let's do that here. And maybe a little bit on the tail here. All right, and that's it. So we have our nice 3D letters. All right, so another fun way that you can kind of spruce this up a little bit. So instead of having a solid color, you could have kind of a patterned background in the letters. So I'm going to alpha lock my color layer here, and that means that whatever I color is just going to color right there, and make sure that I have that layer selected. And let's grab some fun colors. So I want to go for more of a brighter palette here. Let's add some purple. Another brush that I really love is this Artist Crayon. It's available in the sketching folder. I just moved a copy of it to my favorite since I use it so much. And then you can just come in, and this is just going to color on that color layer. So it maintains your shadows, it maintains your highlights, and you can just color away and have fun. You could even add something like, what would go good with this? Like a pink. Add some pink in there. And you could add it just to certain areas if you want. The sky's the limit here. You can really just color and have fun. And it turns out really, really nice. And I love these 3D letters. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And I will look forward to seeing y'all very, very soon. Bye.